One of my favorite books is I actually got an accident where one friend left it with another friend, and I freaking inherited it. And it's called The History of the Ojibwe People, and it's by this dude William Whippleton Warren. And this guy, freaking, he was like, he was half Indian, and he was trained in like how to read and write, and he actually, I think he was college educated, and because he was partially Indian and he grew up and he understood the Indian language from being a kid, and he stopped using it. But then when he was an adult, he went back and he like chronicled all the tales of all the Indians, and like went around, found some of the chiefs that were still living, and the only reason they corroborated like certain stories is because the guy was Indian. It's kind of like that movie Thunderheart, where the FBI guy has to go to the dude and he gives him his watch and his glasses and all that to get him to tell him anything, and then he kind of tells him some kind of vague sounding, like basically sounds like it's like when you give someone a tip and you say don't eat the yellow snow. It seemed almost like that, but then later it was kind of like, wait a second, that dude kind of was saying something. Uh, uh, but anyway, it's like the dude goes through and he chronicles the Indians at the time, and makes this book. But then it's like he died of like freaking tuberculosis. So it's like it must have been meant to be that the dude would partially chronicle uh, this Indian thing. And I remember him saying in this book, he goes, I haven't had the chance to look at the Hebrew language or any ancient Aramaic, but he wanted to. He was going to, but freaking died before he could. And this is like in like 1875 or something like that. So I mean, uh, it it's that's it's not very recent. Uh, but similar to this dude, like me personally, being I basically was I lived with my full-blooded Indian grandmother, and she taught me things. You know what I'm saying? Uh, she taught me, you know, to believe in God and have faith and all that. Taught me about Jesus, even though that's he's got there's more accurate names than that, but it's it's still uh, she yeah told me what she could about the Bible, so it was a point in the right direction there. But she also, on the same token, was talking about our Indian history and just some of the stuff that happened. And she would remind me of this stuff a lot. So, me as an adult now, and I'd be reading these chronicled Indian stories, right? And just doing the overall historical overview, broad view as well, because it's like I studied the kung fu, so I've read a lot of Chinese shizzle, and so you can't say, like a lot of people try to say, man, why are you so stuck on the Indian thing? And it's like they're like, you're not even really that much Indian, basically, in a way. And it's because, like, look, no one else out there really is trying. I mean, at least look from my perspective, there's a few lone voices out in the wilderness crying from the wilderness about it, but there's not many at all. And it's like people just can't recognize, like, sometimes that certain people have a certain purpose to do a certain thing, like catalog the tales, just so that a person like me can get a hold of the freaking book, read it, and then because I've read these other books, all of a sudden it's kind of like, aha, it clicks a little bit different. And the dude himself left like notes and clues about what he would have liked to did. So it's like me being on this way 100 years in the future, hundreds of years, or 100 and some change in the future, and now I can look at Hebrew. Now I can look at Aramaic and Greek, and you know, we got Strong's Concordance, and you got the Bible freaking apps on the phones. I mean, it makes this stuff really simple. So it's like, and this guy said language is the way to tell who's related to who. And I've seen it now that there's multiple overlaps in the ancient Hebrew, Aramaic type language, and Indian language. But I've also found a relation also to Chinese language in the Indian language as well, where the D's or the T's are D's. And then also, as in the Jewish language, or not Jew, but Hebrew, the Y and I are interchangeable. Just like in the Indian language, it's similar. From what I'm noticing, and also I did see, I don't know if you know what the word was, but at the end of it, this woman, the last three letters was Gad. So it's like it was in there, it's in there. And the guy himself said that's how you can tell who's related to who, is by the language. So once again, Anishinaabe, there's the, like, salvation is Ishi, and Nabi is prophet in Hebrew. So it's like, look, and Anishinaabe, it's Hebrewish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but Nabi is a dead bang freaking dead ringer. That it's funny that it's just fun, and it doesn't surprise me. And I just can think back to my grandma telling me these type of things. And she also said the real Jews will be protesting the mark of the beast at the time, and she was ignorant herself of the real Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom thing. But in a way, she was speaking truth. There has been a waking up, and in a lot of ways, Israel is waking up, and they are protesting the beast. And it's prophecies just being fulfilled. And it's like, what's weird about it, though, is like, look, we all got a purpose. Like that guy with that William W. Warren, William Whippleton, to do something, to bear, like what he did. That's a witness, man. He went around, collected, cataloged, and then he died, you know, because of it too, because of the climates he was in and the times. It was like it cost him his life to do. But the information is freaking crucial. And look, I never hear anyone ever reference William W. Warren, William Whippleton Warren. And it's a dang shame that this guy went and chronicled all this stuff, and no one, it's not really out there. I mean, I know I've read it. I don't think I've met another person who's ever read it, and it's a freaking awesome book. And it also explains, like, some things, like there's clarity on certain issues about, at least when it comes to Ojibwe culture, because look, Ojibwe culture is not all Indian culture. It's just Ojibwe culture. And then there's some neighboring tribes that have some similarities. But there's a few different kind of Indian stocks, man, that were in America during those times. But it's like it was meant for me to know these things. It was meant for me to know these things. Just kind of like I guess it was meant for that William Wimpleton Warren guy to chronicle the stuff. So, and it's not even out of pride, man. It's just freaking, it's, it's like duty, man. It's like, there's like even in the kung fu, like there's a point where these guys went so secretive and so segregated that they're like, wait, man, we're gonna all die off, and no one's even gonna remember none of this stuff anymore. And I'm one of those type of dudes with this Indian knowledge. I mean, I'm not the only guy who knows this stuff, but for in my age group, in my kind of like environmental area, urban area, there's not a lot of people who are into this type of stuff. So I'm like one of the only ones. So, and out of duty to my grandmother for instilling this stuff in me, it's like I carry it on. I carry it with me. That's one of the things that Indians do, but it's not only that. That's what you're supposed to do in the Bible. You're supposed to carry on the good teachings that you receive from your elders, and not even just your elders, your neighbors, your friends. Uh, so it, I catch a lot of crap for it because it's like uh, people don't want to hear the truth concerning Indians at all, man. They really do, or the Bible for that matter. It's like either way you go about it, or history. They don't want to hear the truth on any of these subjects. So here's the thing: if this Indian thing was a lie, the devil would be endorsing it, motherfucker. I'd have a record deal. Uh, I'd be on MTV Cribs. Uh, you know, cars and helicopter pads, and you know what I mean. But that's not the case. Instead, it's like I'll get 3 views on my YouTube channel on these types of subjects. Catch all kinds of flack and criticism, and I'll be called a heretic, this and that and another. I'll get in a fight with my family, with my freaking everyone about it, and it's a pain to have to know these things when it's like no one else really wants to receive them at all, man. To be the only guy like that William Wimpleton Warren, because only this guy, because he grew up in the culture, could he get in, and actually his his language speaking was better than even the full blood elders, because this guy talked with all the different variants of the tribe, because some people would have different dialects, and this guy was like a real chameleon, and he could freaking switch it up with different people and tell who was related to who just by the way they pronounce things. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's you can do the same thing in a lot of areas. Like by their dialect, you can tell which part of a country people come from. So there's a lot of freaking pearls, man, to be. You know what I'm saying? You might have to dive into the water to get these pearls here, but look, they're there. But it's like I don't know, man. It's like you're not gonna get a Nobel Peace Prize for doing anything like this. And it'll like if I was to write a book, it would probably sit and get dusty on a library for hundreds of years on this subject. But would it? It's like, but it's meant to be that someone's got to be that guy that looks at the records and just puts 2 plus 2 equals 4. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how much resistance I catch over this. So if like I said, if it was wrong, everyone would be acting like it was right.